Today is Tuesday, August 29th, 2023. It's 9:20 a.m. and I'm calling Lapeer County, Michigan, Probation Department Agent Megan Shepard. I don't think this is going to go well.
Agent Shepard, parole and probation. Can I help you?
Hi, Miss Shepard. This is Rick calling you. I've been trying to get your paperwork done, but I got a real big shocker yesterday. I finally got through to the Michigan Secretary of State, and I've explained that I have had an interlock device on my vehicle, didn't I?
Yes, you said you struggled with it, but it was there.
Right. I've had it on for 32 months, and I've never tested one time for alcohol positive, but this thing's failed 12 times, and it caused two major failures. One where on July 30th, 2021, it took a picture. I went into a store, left my vehicle, and 15 minutes later it took a picture of my empty car, and the Secretary of State they revoked my license and called it failed a rolling retest, and I had to go to a trial with this corrupt Judge Brian Longman. That's the first time, and the thing just failed, and it had nothing to do with me. But I had the hearing, and he said, "Well, so what happened?" I said, "The thing failed," and I said, "I had nothing to do with it," and it was their fault, the interlock company's fault. So he said, "Okay, I'm going to give you your license back, your restricted license back." Now I signed up for it, and it was supposed to be a 12-month commitment, and I got it installed on 2/22/21. And it was supposed to be taken off on 2/22/22, and that was the first time that I had my hearing. And he said, "Okay, I'm going to give you your license back." So I thought that was it, and it was no problem. So I went, and I was in February. I gathered all the things that I needed for the Secretary of State. I needed 3 witnesses, and I needed a doctor's note, and I needed a urinalysis. So I got all that. And then I was supposed to contact this company in Toxalock to get paperwork from them to send to the state to have this thing taken off. And they were wasting, they wasted like a month, and I'm screaming at them to send me the paperwork. So they finally sent it to me, and it was only partial. So while I'm arguing with them, I had to move. And on April 11th, when I moved, this thing failed again. The interlock device failed, and they diagnosed it for 16 days while I sat in the driveway of my new home, and I had absolutely no food in the house because I just moved. And the thing was, they diagnosed it for 16 days. That finally they said the thing needs to be replaced, and they had me tow it to their service center on April 26th, 2022, and they replaced it at no cost to me because their equipment failed. But this corrupt judge claims that I circumvented with the device. So he gave me another another trial. The first time he took my license away for 4 months and I couldn't drive. The second time was for 5.5 months, and he claimed that I circumvented the device. Why would I do that when I was ready to have the thing taken off? And even their own company, this interlock device company, said it wasn't my fault. They replaced the equipment at no charge because it was defective. And this judge insisted on claiming that it was all my fault. So he took my license again, and that was in August of last year. And I thought that he was letting me use my restricted license again until I get another hearing. So then when I finally got a hold of the Secretary of State yesterday, they said no. When he revoked my license last August, that was it. And I've been driving around without a valid license ever since. And I've had this interlock device on ever since, and I've been paying for it. And they're telling me that he said that I couldn't drive at all. So now I have to go through a whole new hearing with the same judge, and they're mailing me the paperwork. So I have no idea when I'm supposed to be able to drive. So what I did is I started complaining. So they told me how I can make a complaint against this judge, and I was ready to do that. I actually went to when he did that to me last year. They said that I could go to circuit court. and appeal it. So I went to now that I live in Isabella County, I went to Isabella Circuit Court and I showed them what this judge did to me, and they told me to have a police report. So I contacted the Isabella Sheriff, Tom Burns, and he told me that what this judge did could be considered a federal crime, and I recorded my contact with the sheriff, and this guy just makes up charges just to and what their company Intoxilock has a independent contractor that does their tech work, and it's in Mount Pleasant, and it's called Adams Automotive, and they gave me a paper stating that I didn't tamper circumvented, that the device died. And I sent that to him, and I had a recording from Intoxilock's customer advocacy department head saying, go have your equipment replaced, and if it's not your fault, we won't charge you for it, and we'll pay for the tow. And I had it replaced. They never did pay me for the tow yet, but they didn't charge me for it, and yet this judge is claiming that I tamper circumvented it, and I've got their own Intoxilock's tech support is willing to testify in court that this guy's a liar and he's getting paid off by Intoxilock. They said that this guy's getting paid off to do this to taxpayers. That's why I couldn't understand why he's doing this to me, because he can't be this stupid. And I'm showing him evidence. They sent me pictures and evidence showing the log of the equipment failing, and I showed it to him in both hearings. And I said, look, this thing failed here, here, and here. It has absolutely nothing to do with me. But this guy's just sabotaging me. And Mr. Shepard, what you have to understand is this coincides with my Lapeer trial that's gone on for 4 years, and I've got another situation with another Secretary of State judge, Nicole Soma, who, when I first applied for this restricted license in 2016, they let me buy a car, plate it, insure it, and then they told me I can't drive the car until I pay $4,000 in 23-year-old driver's oversight fees, and that I couldn't afford. And so then, when they said, well, sorry, you can't drive your car. So I thought I could go get some help from the Department of Civil Rights or some organization. I needed my car because I wanted to move to Florida. I had a job in Florida and a chance to move to a warm climate on doctor's orders, and they wouldn't let me take it. So in the meantime, this all happened within 3 months. The Secretary of State wouldn't let me drive my vehicle, so I went to the Lapeer County DHHS, Department of Health and Human Services, and this supervisor, Rhonda Lansing, she gave me benefits, $15 a month in food stamps, and my water heater in January 2017, it failed. So she said, hey, we'll replace it. And they replaced it, and they replaced it with the wrong parts by a going out of business plumber that was a buddy of theirs. It wasn't a competitive bid. It was done all wrong, and it leaked 3 times, and it caused $15,000 worth of damage to my house and left me without drinking water or any running water for 2.5 years. And then when I tried to get drinking water on September 9th, 2018, that's when the Almont police were stalking me, and they were right across the street. I tried to drive my vehicle to get water, and they arrested me and made up this whole charge that I beat up 2 cops. And here it is, 4 years later. I'm being punished by the court for trying to get drinking water so I wouldn't die. So that's and what happened is on April 26th, I missed my court date because this judge sabotaged my car. I had no way of getting to court. And this is another issue that John Miller, the prosecutor, knew all about it because I was in contact with him, telling him that my car's in service. I don't know when I'm going to get it back. And my former court-appointed legal assistant, Fred Miller, I was sending him copies of everything I sent to John Miller, and then I told him at the last minute, I said, I'm not going to be able to. They told me on Friday night that they were going to have to tow it in Tuesday. And I contacted John Miller that Friday and said, I'm not going to be in court. So he, instead of telling Judge Holoka the truth, he walked into court and said, I failed to appear. So they put out a warrant for my arrest. So in the meantime, I'm struggling with that. I was struggling with getting my car started for 16 days, and on the 15th day I was so weak because I had no food in the house. I passed out in my garage and hit the concrete floor and was out for over an hour. So that's when I went and I filed a complaint with the Isabella sheriff, thinking that he could arrest this judge. And when I told him the story, he told me that this judge could be guilty of federal crimes. That's why I've got to go after him right now. And I can't make it into court. I don't know if I'm going to make it into court. I've got court with Judge Nolan in October. I think it's October 1st or something around that date. But I have no idea what's going on, and I can't. I'm going to be in violation with you and their court, your court, and trying to fight this corrupt judge. I should have had my vehicle that taken off a year and a half ago legally. And it's a dead broke state, dead broke Secretary of State. When I had all these problems, and they also, this woman in 2 months, she also signed me up for Social Security Part B against my will, and I never wanted it. I told her I never signed for it. She signed me up for it, and that alone, if I live to be 90, I'm going to be 72. And in a couple of months, and if I live to be 90, that will have cost me $65,000 in addition to $15,000 worth of damage. And she did $80,000 worth of damage, financial damage to me in 2 months. And then when I started complaining, my complaints went all the way up to Governor Gretchen Whitmer. So somebody is sabotaging this case, and this Lapeer County case that wasn't a case; it was a false arrest, and everybody knows it. And that's why John Miller made me an offer in June of 2021 when I first met him. He said, "I'll let you go if you can move and move out of Michigan and don't come back." But then I had this Judge Soma. Secretary of State Judge Soma, she wouldn't give me a time-based restricted license so I could drive out of state and take my job. So I couldn't take John Miller's offer, and I said I can't do it. And so mysteriously, the next month, within a month, Secretary of State Judge Brian Longman blew my car up for the first time, and I wasn't even in the car, and he called it failed a rolling retest. Took my license away for 4 months. Then the second time is just before my trial on April 26, 2022 was supposed to be. I finally getting my trial. He blew up my car and made it impossible for me to get to my trial. And then John Miller put a warrant out for my arrest. That's what I've been dealing, and that's why I tried to call. I had 47 witnesses and 266 evidence videos, including the ones of the Secretary of State judges and Judge.
Okay. I have patiently listened for over 15 minutes. I understand that you have a ton of grievances, and I'm not here to debate those. The point is, I have no control over them, and I'm already aware of all of them. They're part of your file.
What I want you to do...
Stop. You're listening now. You're listening now, Mr. Schwartz. You're listening now. It's your turn to listen. So my point is, right now I need to set you up for a PSI interview and do the reports that I asked you to fill out and get those put into the computer system. If you can't make it to court, then we will make arrangements to get you here. But right now, the step that we need to do is getting this report done.
Well, see,
if you want to do that.
Yeah, I do want to do that. Of course I want to do that. I'm not going to. I will cooperate with you 100%. Okay. But the thing is, what you have to understand is because of this ticket that I got pulled over on the day of my trial.
I'm not asking you to drive, Mr. Schwartz. Yeah. I'm not asking you to drive at all. I'm giving you the option
I understand that.
of reporting by video.
But what I have to do is
so that's what we need to do.
By tomorrow, I have to contact the Lapeer court and tell them that I'm not going to make it into court because I've got a court date tomorrow in Lapeer over this ticket.
Okay.
So I have to contact.
But that's not my. I
understand
area of control or concern.
Okay. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to let you know what's going on in my world, so you don't think that I'm not trying to cooperate. I'll cooperate 100%. But right now I'm in total crisis. I thought that somebody screwed up in Secretary of State and they would give me my license back. They're telling me I got to apply all over again. And so what I have to do, and this is I've got no food. I got no way of getting medical attention, and I've got no way of working. And I haven't been able to work for the last 7 years because of the state of Michigan. in Lapeer County. So they're just making one anchor after another. I'm guilty of absolutely nothing. These are all mitigating circumstances, and that's why I have to explain it to you. I don't want anybody coming after me, and I'm going to also write to Judge Nolan. I'm going to write him a letter stating that I wanted those two judges in court to explain how they sabotaged my case, and he wouldn't allow me to have any witnesses. 47 witnesses, mostly all of them were government, state and local.
Mr. Schwartz, I am not here to debate your guilt or your innocence. I don't care about that. That is not my job. My job is to do this report. Now, if you do want to cooperate, like you said you do, I need you to send over those documents. I've given you multiple ways to send them to me, to send over the completed documents, and to set a date and time to do a video hearing with me, to do a video conference so that we can do this report.
I understand that, but
that's all I want.
Okay,
that's
and
it.
All you have to do is you have to understand that my number one priority right now is I need food to survive. The only way I'm going to get food is to be able to drive my vehicle, and so what I have to work on all day, and I don't know how much, it's going to take me at least a couple of days to prepare something that I can send to the Secretary of State. I'm also going to file a complaint with the Attorney General, and I've got to have all.
So, Mr. Let me make this clear. Do you have time to do this interview with me in the next week?
I don't know. I like I said.
Okay. Then if you're not going to pick a date, then I'm simply going to write a letter to the court stating you are not cooperating with the PSI interview, and we will put out the warrant. You can get arrested, and then I'll do the report while you're in jail. They have food there. They have transportation.
You're not trying to help.
So
You're not trying to help me at all. What you're trying to do is set me up.
I'm not trying to help.
I just told you. What's more important? Getting my car started so I can get to court, or get your paperwork done.
I've given you a week.
I haven't had
to do this, and you haven't managed to do it. So you're probably not going to do it in the next week.
I just told you.
So I'm just going to send the report to the judge,
and then you're going to punish me.
Okay?
You're going to punish me.
I don't have time.
You're going to punish me.
20 minutes
I told you I've got
about other grievances that you have.
It's not ranting or
so at this point, I'm going to end the call.
You're going to hang up on me.
I appreciate you calling me.
You're going to hang up,
and I will make sure that you get a ride over here to Lapeer.
Yeah, you're going to have me arrested, huh? Hey, thanks a lot. Fucking